one of the problems that most of our customers have is they have data sitting in a single databases, but they want to interact with other applications and technologies because data is always, we want to have a system where people can get data in and out of databases. So the common example that we see is uh, customers have these edge location or point of sale locations where they have applications running, and data sits in these locations, but it's hard to get these data out to other systems. With the Pro Max release, we have added the capability of CDC Out that makes it easy for people to get data out of SingleStore, and we'll try to show how we can do it from an edge to a cloud location. So typically, customers use these edge locations. They use open source technologies like Debezium and Kafka to use as a chain stream carrier, and then eventually get the data into the cloud, which is basically the backend where they do all sorts of analytics. And this pattern was hard to build earlier. With this Pro Max release, we added CDC Out, which makes it easier to build these setups. For this demo, I have a similar setup where I use an application which runs on the edges, and the central cloud instance is basically my aggregator, gets data from all the edge locations, and we'll run analytical query on those cloud instances as well. So let's switch to the demo. Okay. So in this demo, I'm using my two SingleStore instances. Because SingleStore is MySQL compatible, I'm just using the client there. So the two edge locations are basically represented by the two EC2 instances, and I'm deploying SingleStore there, while the central hub is basically my cloud instance running on the free share tier that we talked about this morning. So let's start off by just doing some sanity checks to make sure that there's no data in either of these edge locations. I just make sure of that it's all empty that I start with. And then I'll see as I add more data should be replicated without any change because my Debezium and Kafka is up and running, connecting the two edge locations to the hub on the cloud. So I did the sanity check. Let's start adding the data. I'll just do a first addition, which is a single line insert on SingleStore on one of the edge location. And the expectation is that the data should be instantaneously available on the cloud, which is acting as my hub. So if I do a select from the database company, that should be available. So we can see that data is already started to flow between the edge and the cloud. Now let's do the same thing on the other side, just to make sure that all the pipeline is working fine. I'll do the similar insert on the other side. The data as an aggregator is coming in, so data is flowing in. So CDC Out is working between the two sites. It's clear. But what about an application scenario? So to simulate that, I'll be using a bulk load of a lot of these inserts happening on the two sites. So let's do that. I'm just loading a few thousand rows on both the sites. And I'll do the same thing on the secondary site, which acts as a second edge location for me. So let me just do that part as well. This should be fairly quick. But the expectation is that while data is available on the edge, and we'll just check that here, the data should be available on this side. I think I'm just copying the query. OK, so the data is available. We can see that the data is on the edge locations. Everything is working fine. I'll do the same on the second side. But then let's check on the central hub. What's the system status look like? So if we do a check here, we'll see that it's an aggregation of all the inserts that happen on all the edge location, and that's running on the cloud, on the free share tier. So we can see all the data has already been replicated. So typically, customers have analytical needs on the edge as well as on the cloud. So to simulate that, I'm just running a simple query to see the top performing products and on the two edge sites. But if I run the same query on the cloud, it would be a bit different, but because it's an aggregation of all the data. That's the power of CDC Out. Now, I'll do a bigger analytical query to see variations in my orders on the two sites. But to check it on the cloud, why don't we just switch over to my cloud portal, which provides a SQL editor, which is very similar to the SQL editor that we just saw. You can run the exact same query, just connect to the right database, which is the free share tier database, And you'll see that it's all available to be queried from my cloud portal as well. So it's easy for people to move data. It's easy to build applications using the same interface on the cloud itself. And that's what CDC Out gives you as a capability with the Pro Max release.
Awesome.
Over to you, Nadeem.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Manish. This is exciting, guys. Do you know what exactly it means? Gen AI everywhere, anywhere. I could run now my RAG pattern on the edge. It could be manufacturing floor. It could be my point of sale store. Wherever I want to kind of provide that capability, I can do that. This was a simple capability which we want to demonstrate, but applicability of this thing is endless. So think about how many other systems can give you that flexibility. A Docker image, you can go deploy all the way to an edge.